What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to, and I wanted to apologize for not being on as much as I have been. There's been a few family issues I had to deal with over the last couple of weeks, but I wanted to come back to. I wanted to bring you a story, kind of showing the delusion on the left when it comes to accepting the fact that Joe Biden is in cognitive decline fully. And it just seems like the left, they want to somehow draw a parallel between Joe Biden and Donald Trump when it comes to their mindset, their cognitive state. And clearly there's a big difference between the two men. And anyways, I wanted to bring you guys a clip from Piers Morgan's Uncensored, and they're talking about this. But anyways, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
Let me ask David a question. This is about the Wall Street Journal big report today about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. They spoke with 45 Republican and Democratic lawmakers and staffers. It was pretty unsettling reading, I have to say. It seemed pretty clear by the time I finished it that Joe Biden is suffering some form of dementia. That was the clear conclusion from those who've been around him. And we see enough in public to suggest that may be the case. How comfortable are you that he is going to be fighting this election and potentially being president for 4 more years?
Well, worst case scenario, they both are struggling cognitively, in which case I'd much rather the people around Biden making decisions than the sycophants Trump would put around him, which, with no offense at all, are sort of versions of Benny Johnson, by the way. And the audience, I'm sure we could have a beer together, Benny, and have a great time, but it's not like I necessarily want the government run by people like you. So I think worst case scenario, they're both struggling. You know, at this point, I've interviewed 4 medical and mental health professionals, 2 from mental health, 2 from the neurology side. So far, they've all told me Joe Biden is experiencing age-related aging that you would expect for someone of his age. Trump seems to be seriously cognitively struggling, where he doesn't realize he's saying things that don't make sense. He doesn't realize that he's getting names completely wrong, stories that don't make sense, doesn't know who he ran against, doesn't know who he's running against, doesn't know who he ran against in 2016 or who's president right now. I mean, a level of confusion. And again, I'm neither a neurologist nor a mental health expert. This is what the mental health experts have told me. Now, I will say,
I think anyone that truly wants to be honest understands there's a big difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. A big difference. I mean, first of all, I think majority of us know, or at least suspect, that that Biden, somebody is probably changing the man's diaper. I mean, sure. And it's pretty clear the guy does not know where he is half the time, doesn't know what day it is, doesn't know, you know, again, his uncle is eaten by cannibals. I mean, come on. We have truly got to recognize that there's something going on at this point. Even the left, they got to recognize that there is something going on with Biden. And there's no parallel between Trump and Biden when it comes to, you know, the cognitive decline. There isn't. And, you know, I mean, again, we have to remember that Trump flies, you know, here, there, you know, it goes to court, has all these charges against him. And it's clearly political because, again, before he was running for president, nothing. And all of a sudden, over the past year, everything. So we have truly got to remember they're after Trump, and Trump is going to court and trying to go to this rally, that rally, and is doing so. He's a man that is performing at a level of a younger man, and he's doing well. He's doing well. And you have Biden, on the other hand, that has everything written for him on the teleprompter. And the guy, he can't even maintain focus to read that. There's obviously a huge difference between the two men. But David Pakman, little David Pakman, again, he is unwilling to accept that and unwilling to look at it. And I'm sure whatever experts that he spoke to, again, are clearly biased.
If Donald Trump came out and said that his great uncle had been shot down and then eaten by cannibals, and it turned out that he hadn't been shot down or eaten by cannibals, you would probably lead a cry of, this man is not fit to be president, wouldn't you?
Yeah, maybe I would. I mean, Trump has made stuff up about his uncle developing nuclear weapons or something just as ridiculous. And so I think we have examples of both. I don't know that they're super compelling one way or the other.
Okay.
By the vice president
Alan?
here. That's why the presidency here is more important than in any election since Franklin Roosevelt in 1944, because whoever is the vice president will be the next president.
Right.
And if I were the Republicans, I would put up the strongest, most presidential person, Nikki Haley, for example, or somebody like that, to run Kamala. If Trump tends to pick somebody just who is somebody helping get president, helping get elected, but wouldn't be a good president, that would be a terrible mistake. This is a race for who's going to be the next president, not only who's going to be president.
Okay.
You know what, guys? It's not that I don't agree with that. I do to a degree. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, again, we have truly got to understand there's a big difference between the two, and number one, but also Nikki Haley is not a strong candidate at all. Nikki Haley is a rhino. Nikki Haley will say whatever she's got to say to get elected, to get put in place. And again, if Nikki Haley becomes the vice president, she is going to be the vice president because she is female. That's it. And we don't want that. We truly don't want a token candidate. She's weak. She is able to be influenced by deals, by money. And I don't think she's the right for this country at all in any way. And I hope Trump does not pick her. If he does, he does. I still will support him. But I hope he doesn't.
I want to give you the last word because Sienna Miller, the actress, has said she has already fled the United States, partly due to avoid Donald Trump. She said, I was living in New York for 7 years till last summer. It was time to come home. Obviously got a little baby. It's a better quality of life. And there is no Donald Trump. I couldn't handle another election. We are, I think, heading to that familiar rodeo of a lot of famous people saying they're either leaving or have left the country to avoid Trump. What do you make of this?
Good. Fantastic. Why not? We live in a free country. Go where you please. But if just a personal, humble recommendation from your boy Benny, go to a country that's a Stalinist country, because that's clearly the tradition that you're from. You should go to Cuba. I've gone to Cuba and done documentaries. You should see what life's like there. North Korea would be fun. Perhaps you could fly into mainland China and try and live under a social credit system. See how much your activism, gets you, how far your radical intersectional feminist ideologies get you in, I don't know, the Mideast or in an African nation. Try it. Go. I beg of you. And more importantly, make sure you book a one-way ticket. Make sure you book a one-way ticket. You don't want any. You don't want to, get the
defense that you have for Donald Trump and anything to the left of Donald Trump, including Nikki Haley, is a Stalinist. So, wait till you learn how much of a
I would never call people like Alan Dershowitz a Stalinist.
For 8 years.
You know what, guys, man? Benny's right. He is 100% correct. I mean, think about this for a minute. I mean, so many people, they hate this country. They hate this country. They're like, we don't have freedoms here. We don't have rights here. We can't do what we want. Again, black people, they're oppressed. Women, they're oppressed. They don't make the same wage. black people, they can't do what they want to do. There's a difference between white men in positions of power, of influence, than black people. And it's all due to black people not being able to do what they want to do. Really? No, it's not. Not one bit. But again, they're out there protesting and burning stuff down, yelling, screaming, and throwing paint, doing whatever they want to do. And they're saying at the same time, they can't do what they want to do in this country because they're oppressed. Because this country is so bad, they can't do what they want to do. It's like, you are. Try that somewhere else. Again, we have 100% freedom. We have the right to do what we want to do within reason in this country. You know, again, we can go after whatever we want to go after, become what we want to become, if we work hard enough. But they want you to believe we can't. This country's not fair. So they get out there in the streets, they protest, they yell, they scream, they do whatever they want. It's like, can't you realize you have the right to do that here? You can do what you want within reason. As a matter of fact, you're getting away with more now. Try that somewhere else. Again, you advocate for from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, whatever. But again, you couldn't do what you do here or there. You couldn't do it. Again, the women that are out there yelling and screaming with their feminist ideals and everything else, again, they would be locked up. They'd be beaten or worse in so many of these other areas. But again, they advocate for that kind of stuff. They're like, you know, oh, poor this country, or poor that country, or poor these people, or poor. Again, you have the right to say whatever you want to say here, but you couldn't do it there. And again, you give no thought to the people that sacrificed their lives for this country to give you that right. But guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.